Jay Leno is putting his brand new face forward.
Yeah, it was interesting. It was all third-degree burns. It was pretty bad. I would do exactly the same thing. I would marry the same person. I'd do everything the same exact way.
Jay Leno's wife can't recognize him anymore. A devastating twist in the life of this famous comedian. For years, Leno has kept us laughing on late-night TV, but now he faces a personal tragedy that's hard to comprehend. What could have led to such a heartbreaking situation? As we trace his journey from a budding stand-up comedian to a star on The Tonight Show, we see a stark contrast between his public successes and private challenges. Let us expose how he is coping with this unexpected turn in his life. The unseen struggles of Jay Leno's private life. If you've ever enjoyed a laugh with Jay Leno on The Tonight Show, you might be surprised to learn there's more to his life than just comedy. He has been making people smile for decades, but now his own wife doesn't even know who he is. How did this happen? What's going on in his personal life? Let's explore the story of Leno and his wife to understand what led to this heartbreaking situation. As you'll soon see, there's a lot more beneath the surface. As we peel back the layers of Leno's life, a chilling mystery emerges. What secrets has he forgotten, and can they be uncovered before it's too late? Stay tuned as we dive deeper into his story. As we peel back the layers of Leno's life, a chilling mystery emerges. What secrets has he forgotten, and can they be uncovered before it's too late? Stay tuned as we dive deeper into his story. Let's also take a closer look at his incredible career. He is the comedian who turned late-night TV into a staple of American entertainment. Born on April 28, 1950, in New Rochelle, New York, his mother, Catherine, was a homemaker from Scotland, and his father, Angelo, was an Italian-American insurance salesman. He grew up in Andover, Massachusetts, where he went to Andover High School. Later, he attended Emerson College in Boston and earned a degree in speech therapy. While in college, his passion for comedy took shape. In 1973, he started his own comedy club, which marked the beginning of his career in stand-up comedy. His big break came in March of 1977 with his first appearance on The Tonight Show. His quick wit and humor quickly made him a favorite. Throughout the 1970s, he also appeared on TV shows like Good Times and Holmes and Yo-Yo, and in movies such as American Hot Wax and Silver Bears. From there, his career took off, leading to even bigger opportunities. In 1986, he became the regular substitute host for Johnny Carson on The Tonight Show. Everything changed in 1992 when he was chosen as Carson's replacement after Johnny retired. This decision shocked many, as it was widely expected that David Letterman, who hosted Late Night with David Letterman right after The Tonight Show since 1982, would be the one to take over. The tension surrounding this decision was so intense that it inspired both a book and a movie. But that wasn't the hardest part. Leno stuck to his stand-up roots and, in 1988, signed a new contract with NBC, securing his position in late-night TV. A key moment in his career came in July 1995, when his interview with Hugh Grant on The Tonight Show got higher ratings than Letterman's show for the first time. A huge win for Leno. In 2004, NBC extended his contract to keep him on the show until 2009, with plans for Conan O'Brien to take over. However, more controversy emerged during the 2007 Writers Guild of America strike. He was accused of writing his own monologues against the rules of the strike. He and NBC claimed there were special agreements, but the Writers Guild denied this. Even so, the Guild did not list him as a strikebreaker. But this wasn't the end of his challenges. In April 2009, he was hospitalized for the first time in 17 years, missing an episode of The Tonight Show due to an undisclosed illness. He later explained that he was simply exhausted. Despite all the ups and downs in his career, he has always been known for his kindness and strength. He has helped many people over the years, like during Michael Jackson's trial in 2005, when he testified about some strange phone conversations with the accuser. Recently, however, he is facing one of the most difficult challenges of his life. His dear wife, the love of his life, no longer recognizes him. He has been going through a tough time as his wife, Mavis, battles an illness that makes it hard for her to even recognize him. This heartbreaking situation has deeply affected him, revealing a side of him that many people have never seen before. Let's dive into the emotional journey he is on and how his wife's condition is changing their daily lives. A new chapter begins, full of changes and surprises both on and off the screen. The dual battles of a late-night legend. During his time on The Tonight Show, he faced an unusual challenge when he was told not to make any jokes about Michael Jackson in the trial. Because of this rule, he took a short break from the show. While he was away, guest comedians like Roseanne Barr and Drew Carey stepped in and brought their own jokes about the trial. As soon as the ban was lifted, he returned and dedicated an entire monologue to jokes about Michael Jackson. Then, in 2009, late-night TV went through a big change. He, who had been the host of The Tonight Show for many years, was getting ready to pass the torch to Conan O'Brien. Fans and TV insiders were curious about what he would do next. Would he go to another network or retire altogether? On May 29, 2009, he said his goodbyes, and O'Brien took over on June 1st. But he wasn't ready to leave TV just yet. NBC soon announced he would stay on the network with a new show, The Jay Leno Show, airing at 10 p.m. every weeknight. The show premiered on September 14, 2009, with big guests like Jerry Seinfeld, Oprah Winfrey, and even Kanye West, who had just made headlines at the MTV Video Music Awards. But this wasn't the end of his journey on The Tonight Show. In 2010, he found himself back on the show amidst a lot of changes. NBC was having trouble with its late-night lineup, and both he and Conan O'Brien were dealing with low ratings. To try to solve the problem, NBC decided to move his show to 11:35 p.m. and shorten it to 30 minutes. This also meant that The Tonight Show would be affected by the Winter Olympics, airing after midnight for the first time ever. On January 10th, NBC announced that he would be moved back to late night starting February 12th. But here's where it gets tricky. They didn't initially tell O'Brien about the plan. When they did, he was offered a new show at 12:05 a.m., or the choice to leave the network. On January 12th, O'Brien made it clear that he would not continue with The Tonight Show if it was pushed to 12:05 a.m., arguing that it would hurt the show's reputation. By January 21st, NBC and O'Brien had agreed on a settlement. O'Brien would leave The Tonight Show with a $33 million payout, and his team would receive $12 million. O'Brien's last episode aired on January 22, 2010, and he returned as host after the Winter Olympics on March 1, 2010. Although his ratings initially took a hit, his show remained the top-rated late-night program, beating both ABC's Nightline and CBS's Late Show with David Letterman. But all this drama on TV pales in comparison to what he is facing in his personal life. Recently, he and his wife Mavis have been dealing with the serious challenges that come with her illness. Their story is a powerful example of love and commitment, showing how they continue to support each other despite the hardships that come their way. Recently, Jay took over managing Mavis's inheritance, showing how close they are despite the tough times they face together. Sometimes Mavis struggles to recognize him, which shows just how much their relationship has been tested over the years. The story of Mavis Leno started back in the 1970s when they met at a comedy club in Los Angeles. He was on stage doing a stand-up comedy, and Mavis felt an instant connection when she saw him. She was drawn to his looks and felt a strong bond right away. Even though Mavis wasn't sure about marriage because of her feminist beliefs, she couldn't help but be charmed by him. Instead of a traditional ring, he proposed in a creative way with an insurance policy showing his unique approach. They have been married since 1980, which means they've shared more than 40 years together. They decided not to have children, a choice Mavis felt very strongly about. Instead, their relationship has flourished through their mutual support and facing the ups and downs of his career and personal life together. Behind the laughter, a personal challenge starts to unfold at home. Fading memories. But things took a difficult turn in early 2024 when Mavis, who is now 77 years old, was diagnosed with dementia. Mavis had been having problems with her memory and recognizing familiar places for a while. In April 2024, court-appointed lawyer Ronald Ostrander prepared legal documents that explained the seriousness of her condition. He noted that Mavis sometimes does not recognize him or even remember her own birthday. Despite these challenges, he also mentioned that Mavis remains affectionate and kind, and their strong bond continues to provide comfort and support to both of them. The court appointed him as Mavis's conservator, putting him in charge of her finances and estate planning, but not her personal care. This role makes sure Mavis's finances are protected and that her needs are taken care of, especially if something were to happen to him. Ostrander pointed out that this arrangement shows how deep their connection is, emphasizing that his involvement is essential for protecting both Mavis and himself. He also confirmed that Mavis agrees with him being her conservator and has no objections. This situation has been very hard on him, who is loved by many as one of America's favorite late-night TV hosts. When news of Mavis's dementia diagnosis became public, it touched the hearts of many, drawing support and concern from fans. He usually keeps his personal life private, but in January he shared that Mavis is managing well and that they are facing this together away from the public eye. As a full-time caregiver, he deals with the constant demands of dementia, which slowly takes away memories and independence. He has to watch his wife, whom he has loved for 43 years, slowly lose her memory and ability to do things on her own. But this isn't the worst part. Even though they are financially secure, the emotional burden is heavy. The joy and laughter they used to share are fading, and it's heartbreaking to see Mavis sometimes not recognize him. Every day he faces the tough reality of the disease. Despite all the difficulties, their love remains strong. He is dedicated to caring for Mavis, making sure her needs are met, and treating her with respect. Taking care of Mavis is a tough road, and being her conservator adds even more responsibilities. He must look after both Mavis and their finances, making important decisions about her care as her condition moves from mild forgetfulness to more severe memory loss, behavior changes, and loss of movement and speech as the disease progresses. As people grow older, they often need more care because they find it harder to move, speak, or even eat. Despite these difficulties, the love between them has been truly special. For over 40 years, they have been more than just partners. They have been best friends, always supporting each other through life's ups and downs. Their constant support for one another remains their greatest strength. Even though Mavis is losing some of her memories, their love is still strong. It shows in the little things, like a gentle touch or a warm smile. Even though dementia brings big challenges, it can't take away the love they share. As he faces these tough moments, their love continues to guide them, showing that even though illness has made things harder, their bond is still a beautiful and lasting part of their lives. After leaving The Tonight Show, he stayed very active with a lot of different projects. He performed stand-up comedy, doing about 200 live shows every year across the United States and Canada. These shows not only entertain his fans, but also raise money for good causes, including USO tours for the troops. He has also made memorable appearances on popular late-night shows like The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon and Late Night with Seth Meyers. He even made a funny guest appearance on The Late Late Show with James Corden, where he humorously challenged Corden in a mock training camp for talk show hosts. Although there were rumors about his return to The Late Show with David Letterman for its 2015 finale, he did not take part. But he did make a notable appearance in a Super Bowl commercial with Oprah Winfrey in 2010. New adventures await as he explores different roles and faces old criticisms. The unexpected turns of a comedy legend. But that wasn't the end of his adventures. He went on to launch a new show on CNBC called Jay Leno's Garage, which started as a special and became a regular series in 2014. The show ran until January 2023, when CNBC decided to focus more on business programs. Besides hosting in comedy, he also joined the Tim Allen comedy Last Man Standing, starting in its 5th season, where he played a mechanic named Joe Leonard. He also hosted the 3rd revival of You Bet Your Life, which aired for 2 seasons from 2021 to 2023. Even though it was renewed for a 3rd season, the show ended in August 2023. This was because he decided not to cross the picket line during the Writers Guild of America strike, and Fox chose to offer other game shows instead. But this wasn't the only thing he tried. He also did some voice acting. He voiced the Crimson Chin on The Fairly Odd Parents from 2001 to 2016, and Billy Beagle on Mickey and the Roadster Racers in 2019. He appeared as a guest judge on America's Got Talent during 2018, its 14th season, where he used the golden buzzer for opera singer Imana Bisha in 2023. He returned to NBC as a celebrity guest judge for the season finale of Hot Wheels Ultimate Challenge. Through all these different roles, he continues to entertain and connect with audiences in new ways. But things were not always smooth for him. Like many celebrities, Jay Leno faced criticism during his time on The Tonight Show. In 2010, he was criticized for his part in the controversy surrounding the show, even though he had said back in 2004 that he would gladly hand over the show to Conan O'Brien. Later, he explained that his goal was to stop O'Brien from moving to a rival network. He wanted to make it clear that he wasn't trying to compete with the famous Johnny Carson or cause any fights over the show. Rosie O'Donnell even called him a bully and criticized his behavior. Bill Z, who co-wrote his autobiography, Leading with My Chin, advised him to step back to protect his reputation. In 2009, he faced several other criticisms, showing how hard it can be to be in the public eye. But that wasn't the worst part. Throughout his career, he has had to deal with a lot of ups and downs, just like anyone else in the spotlight. Kanye West got emotional during a TV broadcast when the talk turned to his late mother and how she was connected to the 2009 VMAs incident. Around this time, Howard Stern, who often had harsh words for him, questioned if he really planned to retire from The Tonight Show. Stern raised this point during his appearance on Late Night with Conan O'Brien back in 2006. Stern didn't stop there. He continued to criticize him in various places, including The Late Show with David Letterman and a 2012 podcast interview with Mark Maron. In that podcast, Jimmy Kimmel also shared his thoughts about him, saying that Conan O'Brien was treated unfairly. Kimmel talked about his complicated relationship with him, revealing that he once thought about moving to ABC and started a friendship with Kimmel to keep things friendly. But when he chose to stay at NBC, Kimmel felt tricked, thinking he was just being used in his negotiations. On a more personal note, his life is filled with surprising and generous actions. In 2001, he and his wife, Mavis, donated $100,000 to the Feminist Majority Foundation to fight against gender discrimination in Afghanistan, where women were facing terrible conditions under the Taliban. Mavis is a board member of this foundation. In 2009, he donated another $100,000 to create a scholarship fund at Salem State College, now Salem State University, in honor of Lenny Sogoloff, a jazz club owner who helped start his career. By 2012, he had auctioned off a Fiat 500, raising $385,000 for a charity that provides temporary homes for injured war veterans. His dedication to education also continued with 2 more scholarships at McPherson College, showing his ongoing commitment to helping students reach their goals. Away from the cameras, his passion for cars drives a journey of personal joy and reflection. Jay Leno's journey through triumph and tragedy. But this wasn't the only surprising thing about him. His love for cars is just as strong. Since 1985, he's been involved in the Love Ride, a charity motorcycle event that has raised almost $14 million for different causes, like research on muscular dystrophy, Autism Speaks, and helping with recovery efforts after the September 11th attacks. He is also known for his huge car collection, which includes about 286 vehicles, 169 cars, and 117 motorcycles. He features his collection on his website and TV show, Jay Leno's Garage, where he shares videos and photos of his cars and bikes. His garage is carefully maintained by Bernard J., the garage manager. Some of his most famous cars include 2 Doble steam cars that belong to Howard Hughes, the 5th surviving Duesenberg Model X, a rare 1963 Chrysler turbine car, and 3 old electric cars, including a 1909 Baker motor vehicle, a favorite of his wife, Mavis. But that's not all. His car passion reaches even further. He writes a column for Popular Mechanics, sharing stories about his collection, restoration advice, and unique car models. He also writes funny motor mouth articles for the Sunday Times, where he reviews sports cars and talks about car-related topics. Plus, he contributed to the realism of the 2014 video game L.A. Noire by letting the game's creators, Team Bondi, use his collection of late 1940s cars to make the game's version of Los Angeles more accurate. Beyond his entertainment career, his life reflects his personal values and interests, showing a wide range of passions and commitments in 2014. He was the host of the Genesis Prize Award ceremony in Jerusalem. During the event, he made some jokes about then-President Barack Obama and then Secretary of State John Kerry. He criticized Obama for some decisions he felt hurt the relationship between the United States and Israel. In a 2015 interview with the Jerusalem Post, he praised Israel as the only democracy in the Middle East, though he admitted that some people might see its actions as too aggressive. By 2024, his political views had changed. In an appearance on Piers Morgan Uncensored, he openly criticized former President Donald Trump and expressed his support for President Joe Biden. He praised Biden for his leadership and handling of the economy. While he is well known for his comedy, he is also recognized for his distinctive feature, a large lower jaw. In his autobiography, Leading with My Chin, he mentioned that he thought about surgery to change his jaw, but decided against it because the recovery would take too long. He has also shared some personal details about his life. He has talked about his dyslexia, his ability to get by on just 4 to 5 hours of sleep each night, and his choice to avoid alcohol, smoking, and gambling. He loves spending time working on his car collection in his garage. Interestingly, he has said he never spent the money he earned from hosting The Tonight Show. Instead, he has lived off the money he made from his stand-up comedy shows. In 2005, he reportedly earned $32 million. His achievements have been recognized with 2 honorary Doctor of Humane Letters degrees, one from Emerson College in 2014 and another from the Academy of Art University in 2021. But this wasn't the toughest part of his journey. He has faced several personal challenges recently. On November 12, 2022, he suffered severe burns to his face and hands in a garage fire in Los Angeles, which required surgery, including one to reconstruct his ear. Then on January 12, 2023, he was involved in a motorcycle accident that left him with several broken bones. He also experienced the loss of his older brother, Patrick, a Yale Law School graduate and Vietnam War veteran, in 2002 when Patrick was 62. Through all of this, his dedication to his wife, Mavis, has remained strong, showing the depth of their long-lasting relationship. What are your thoughts on how personal tragedy shapes a person's resilience? Share your opinions, like, comment, and don't forget to subscribe for more.